Hi guys, I'm Sijia from Propedia. One of the trickiest and yet most important decision homeowners face when swapping their property is whether you should sell your existing property before buying a new place or to buy a new place before selling your existing property. Many homeowners will prefer the latter, as we all ideally hope to find our dream home before deciding whether to proceed. Nevertheless, it is not always a realistic option and is not feasible in certain scenarios. As there are a few different considerations to look at depending on what type of property you currently own, be it a HDB or private, we'll be focusing on HDB owners for today. There are three key factors that you should consider. First is the type of property you own currently and am planning to purchase, be it a HDB or private. This impacts the timeline of the sale, as HDBs typically take a longer time to transact due to the longer option period of 21 days, plus requirements of HDB approval, which can take up to 4 to 5 weeks, and the time needed for HDB to process the sale, which is 8 weeks. But of course, as private property sale terms are more flexible, there are ways one can negotiate the terms to fit their circumstances. Secondly is if you have any alternative lodging. Do you all have any place to stay in the worst case scenario? For example, is there space in your parents' home to stay for a few months, or will you need to negotiate with your buyer for extension of stay? In the case of HDB, extension of stay is only available for a maximum of 3 months. Most buyers wish to move in as soon as possible and hence prefer sellers who do not have such requirements. Lastly is the amount of available funds that you have. Can you afford the down payment of your next property without selling your existing property? Will you have sufficient cash or CPF to do so? This is further impacted if your next property purchase is a private property. It will be considered your second property if you haven't sold your existing HDB. With this, there are severe implications such as the additional buyer's stamp duty of 12% and lower loan-to-value of only 45% for your second property. Can you afford to pay ABSD for the second property? And do you actually require maximum loan financing? Let us go through this scenario. Sellers A and B are currently residing in a HDB which can sell for $600,000 and has an outstanding loan of $250,000. They have a combined cash of $150,000 plus $100,000 in the CPF account. They are hoping to move to a 3-bedroom private property which costs $1.7 million. The down payment required if you sell your property first will be $425,000. Buyer's stamp duty will be $52,600. There will be no additional buyer's stamp duties. Legal fees will be $3,000 and the total outlay required will be $480,600. The down payment required if you buy first without selling your first property will be $935,000. Buyer's stamp duty will be $52,600 and there will be an additional buyer's stamp duty of $204,000. Legal fees will be $3,000 and the total outlay required will be approximately $1.19 million. As for timeline comparison, for HDB sale process, the option period will be 21 days, completion period will be 60 days maximum for submission, plus 1 to 5 weeks for HDB acknowledgement, and another 8 weeks for HDB completion. As for the return of sale proceeds, for cash will be upon completion and CPF will be only usable after 14 days. Moving on to private sale process, the option period will be 14 days typically, but it can be negotiated privately. As for the completion period, it is typically 8 to 12 weeks, but it can also be negotiated privately. Without selling their flat first, they are unable to down pay for the new property. Hence, they can only sell first. Referring to the timeline comparison table, the total period for the completion of a HDB sale can drag up to 6 months and longer still if you require funds which returns to your CPF account. In summary, if you have spare cash in the bank or are able to gather funds required to purchase your first new property, you can choose to do so to avoid the worry of whether the sale completes on time and to secure your dream home of your choice before someone else purchases it. However, as we can see above, the funds required to purchase your second property first without selling is exponentially more compared to selling your existing house first. Even though you can apply for ABSD remission in certain situations, coming up with $1.19 million without sales proceeds from your existing sale is not feasible for most. Nevertheless, the situation and numbers differs for all scenarios, and in certain cases, one can negotiate with your buyer or seller for certain terms that will overcome these implications, such as mandating a shorter submission time for your sale of your HDB or negotiating an extended option period for your purchase prior to sale. We recommend you to speak to your property agent for better advice. If you wish to learn more, feel free to contact our team for a sharing as well. Have a great day and we hope to see you again. Goodbye!